Good morning, Quirky Birders. It's Lynn here, and I just thought I would record a very quick video just showing you some more masculine designs that are suitable for male birthday cards, male sort of notelets, thinking of you type cards, but it's also with regards to Father's Day, which is just around the corner. So that's on the 20th of June this year. So I thought over the next few days I would record a series of short videos just demonstrating a couple of different masculine designs. So the designs that I've chosen to do this morning are this one, which is of a little mushroom, which just says, "Thanks Dad for always being a fun guy." So I just thought that that was really quite quite sweet. So I'm going to show you how to do that one today. And then I've also got a very, very simple little sort of seascape with a little sailboat on there. And I've just put a little thinking of you quote on the side of that. So I'm going to show you how to do both of these designs, both really sort of very, very simple, but really quite effective. So let's just make a start. So to do both of the designs, the first thing that we need to do is we need to just pop the wash on to the seascape. So I'm just going to do that next. So I'm doing these designs on a piece of A5 paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to very quickly just tape my paper to the board, because I just want a really nice sharp border around the edge of this design. So I'm just going to put a nice broad border at the base of the design. So I'm going to use the full width of the masking tape. And then I'm going to add just probably about 1 centimetre border just around the top. And then we'll come in on the side. And the same the other side. It's not quite even. Let me just move that out of the way a little bit. That's better. So we've just got a nice border right the way around our A5 piece of paper. Let me just move the camera, there we go. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to put in a wash on the actual sky. So I'm going to do that next. So I'm just going to use a nice bright blue. And for the sky, I'm just going to work diagonally. So I'm applying the wash just nice and light. It's a nice and watery consistency. And I'm just applying it in a diagonal motion. It is wet on dry. The paint is very, very watery, but it's going straight onto dry paper. Now it doesn't matter if you end up with it appearing a little bit scratchy and you end up with nice little gaps with the white of the paper showing through. That's just going to add to the detail of the sky. So I've put in my blue wash, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow. It's a bit of a darker yellow, it's more like the ochre colour yellow. And again, I'm just going to work that into a diagonal motion. And it just needs to be a more narrower band just across the middle. Again, it can be fairly scratchy and you can have the white of the paper on show. And just spend a few moments just to blend in between the blue and the yellow. And then the next colour that we're wanting to do is a nice blue wash. Now you can go a shade darker than the sky. Again, still keeping it nice and watery. Only this time you're going to work in a horizontal motion. So pop in your horizon line and then just bring your wash right the way down. Again, it's still working wet on dry. And you can use the white of the paper to give you those little highlights on the sea. And then I'm just going to wet my brush. And then just using that wet brush, I'm just going to concentrate on just defining that horizon line. So just getting rid of any of the harsh edges. So you've got a nice crisp horizon line. Okay. So now we've got our background wash in place, and it is just a very, very light wash. We don't need to do anything too heavy at all. Let's just quickly remove that masking tape that we've used as our border. Because we haven't saturated the area, we can actually lift away that masking tape because we're not going to have any sort of potential where it's going to be bleeding. So just gently lift that away and just be careful that you don't get any sort of rips and snags because you don't want to ruin the front face of your card. Okay, so that just needs to dry for a few more moments and we'll add in the details in just a moment. So I'm going to pop that just to one side just to let that dry. And then I'm going to show you how to do the little fungi illustration. Now there is a little bit of drawing involved in this. We're going to just be using a pencil, and we are just going to be drawing our little fungi. But it is a very, very simple and very easy little shape to draw. So what we're going to do to begin with is we're going to just start with the cap of the mushroom. So starting at the top of your paper, or just slightly down from the top of your paper, you're just going to put that lovely, nice, soft shape of the cap of the mushroom. And we'll come around the other side. And then we're going to sweep it down on this left hand side. So we'll come around the left hand side and then take it up. Like so. We can then put the stalk of the mushroom in. So what we're going to do is bring that nice shape down to that bulbous bottom. We're going to come along the bottom a little bit wider, and then let's take that stalk up the side. Put the rounded shape on the top, and then we can join this corner up with a nice rounded shape of the mushroom like so. And then this side we're going to join up from there. It's a little bit narrower. At this point you can pop your sort of spines of the mushroom in, so you can just pop some lines in that gives you a little bit of guidance. So we'll come around the front. Like so. And that's it for the drawing of your mushroom. It really is quite a simple little shape to do. So when it comes to the painting of the mushroom, we're going to work from light to dark, and we're going to build the layers of paint as we go. So I'm going to start with a nice pale brown, so keeping it nice and pale. You can add in a little bit of white to your brown to make it a little bit more opaque. So I'm just going to do that now. Just put a little tiny bit of white in there just to lift it ever so slightly. And then you're going to start by painting in the stalk of the mushroom. Now I just want to use the paper just to create a couple of little highlights. So we'll come around the top of the stalk and then just use the paper just to create a couple of little white highlights all the way down the left hand side. We'll come around the bottom. And then we'll paint all of the side, like so. And just spend a couple of moments, if you've got any pooling paint, just spend a couple of moments just either pushing that paint down to the bottom, because we can use that as a bit of a shadow, or if you want to just dry your brush off and just lift away any of that excess paint, then you can do that too. You just want a really nice soft finish to the stalk, like so. And then we just need to paint our mushroom top. Now I'm going to use a mixture of sort of the burnt sienna and also a little bit of brown. And again, just working from light to dark, we're going to paint all of the cap of the mushroom. And again, just use the paper to give you just a couple of little highlights on the top of that mushroom. And we'll paint around the edge. And then I'm just going to spend just a couple of moments just removing any of those harsh edges that have formed as the paint has dried, because you just want to gain a really nice finish. Any pooling paint, then you can just lift that away. But I'm quite happy with that as a base colour at the moment. So the next thing that we can do is we can pop in a little bit of grass just either side of the mushroom. Now you've got a couple of ways that you can do this. You can either use a little piece of scrap watercolour paper just to give you a straight edge, or alternatively you can just use a ruler, but I'm just going to use a little bit of watercolour paper just to give me that straight edge. And taking up the colour green, so you just want a nice green. Working from the base, I'm just going to push that colour up into the blades of grass either side of the mushroom. So I've got one side, and then again let's do the other. Like so. And that just gives you a nice straight edge just along that bottom there. So we can add a little bit of detail to our mushroom next. And what we're going to do is we're going to add in the colour brown. So I want to use the dark brown. So all you're going to do is just use the tip of your brush and just put a couple of little dots and lines just along the side of the stalk of the mushroom. So just keep it quite light. Of course you can change your brush if you want to, if you're feeling that the size 5 or size 6 is a little bit too heavy for this, then do please change your brush. And just remember that you can lift away any of that excess paint. So if you've got something that's a little bit heavier, then just lift that away. I'm just going to put a couple of little dots. And then I'm also going to just pop in, using the brown, just some of the brown on the actual spines of the mushroom. So I'm just going to use that dark brown again. And just use that to come up through the actual spines of the mushroom. You can again keep it a little bit darker just along the top of the stalk. Like so. And then lastly, what we need to do is we just need to put in a little bit more detail and darker shade to the top of the cap of the mushroom. So again, it's just the glazing process, so the same colour that you've painted with before. You can bring that colour down along the side of your mushroom and just bring it along that edge. Bring a little bit down this other side, just on this left hand side here. But just always allow that paler colour to show through. Again, saying don't worry too much about your edges, because we will sharpen those up when we add in the ink details, because there is a little bit of ink detail going on to this little design. But I'm quite happy with that, so I'm just going to pop that to one side just to let that dry, and we will bring back our little seascape. So this is dried quite nicely. So the next thing that we need to do is we just need to pop in the little boat. So I'm just going to use my black fine liner pen initially for this, and we're just going to draw in the little boat. So first of all, we're going to just put in the bow of the boat. And then we're going to bring it down at a little bit of an angle, not too sharply. We're going to add in a little cabin. And then let's just tail that off into a wave. Now you may find it easier just to colour that in, so let's just colour the cabin in. So I'm just going to just put in a couple of little windows to the cabin. Maybe that we add in a little porthole as well, so I'll pop a little porthole in. And then you're just colouring that in, just using your black felt pen. Let's just colour all of that in. Come around the little porthole. I'm just using a size 1 pen at the moment, just to get the coverage. But you could use a Sharpie, you could even use a black felt pen for this. So you just want to use just something that gives you just that coverage, just to colour that in. And then we just need to just give it a couple of little sharper edges. So I'm going to just use my fine liner pen and just define those edges just to make it a little bit sharper. Okay. And then we need to put in the main mast. Now you can use a ruler for this, or you can also just use, again, just a piece of watercolour paper. So I'm just going to use a bit of watercolour paper. But I'm also just going to leave a little break in the mast. Now the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm bringing the sail down to that broken point, and then let's bring it across and put in the bottom of the sail. and then we'll take the line back up again. You can add in a little bit of a rope, and we'll do the same from the top of the mast to down to the boat. You can put a little pennant on the top of the actual boat itself. And then let's just pop in a second sail. So we're going to bring a nice rounded shape just down the front of the boat. And again, let's make that a double. So we'll bring a second line, just following that shape down. Put in the base of the sail. And this time just curve that round. Again, you can pop in a couple of bits of rope. And that's your little sailboat drawn. You can then just add through the waves just a couple of little wisps, just to give you the impression of the waves of the sea, just around that sailboat. Just very, very simple indeed. And then perhaps in the sky you would like to add a couple of seagulls, so just start with a little dot and then just push your pen away just to give you the impression of some little birds in the sky. And that is your very, very simple little wash and ink little greetings card of a sailboat. But you can also then add some little card embellishments to your watercolour illustration. Now I've just printed out just this little quote, so just thinking of you, and then it's just on normal printer paper, and then I've just cut it out, and I'm just going to use just a bit of Pritt stick, and let's just glue that to the front of the card. Now if you're into your card making and you've got all the different embellishments and the little greetings and the quotes and the frames, then you can really go to town with some of these little simple illustrations. But I'm just going to pop the thinking of you just on one side of my little illustration. And that's it. That's your first little card done. So it's just a very, very simple little illustration of a sailboat. Just a very simple ink and wash design. So that's your first one. So let's bring back the second, and we've got our little mushroom here that's now dry. So all we're doing for this is we're just going to just do the ink outline. So I've just got my little fine liner pen, and we'll make a start by coming down the stalk of the stem, and we'll do the same at the other side. Come around the bottom and then just join that line up at the top. We'll come round the top of the cap of the mushroom. Like so. And then let's just join the mushroom up. Again, you can just add in those spines, so you can use your pencil lines as a guide. And then we've also got some added detail with the the watercolour paint as well. So just pop in your little lines underneath the cap of the mushroom. And that's it. That's all you need to do as far as the ink detail of the little mushroom is concerned. So as far as the quote, I again have printed some little bits out from just off Word and then cut them out. So I'm just going to use again the Pritt stick. So I'm going to pop that in the centre. So I've got the word "Thanks, Dad." And then I've got the next set of words, which I'm just going to pop some Pritt stick on now. Getting it all over my fingers while I do it. So we've got then "for always being a." And then lastly, I've just got the word "fungi." Oh, wasn't very straight, was it? Just rub that excess glue off. I just made a bit of a mistake there. There we go. Okay, and that's it. So 2 very, very simple little designs for greetings cards. A little bit more masculine than we would normally do, but again, still within the same quirky style. So we've got "Thanks, Dad, for always being a fungi." And then we've got a very, very simple little wash and line, "Thinking of you" or "Happy Birthday" type illustration. I do hope you've enjoyed the video this morning. Like I say, there is going to be a little series of these, so there's plenty more little designs to come over the next few days, so do keep a lookout for the notifications. And please, if you like this type of work, then please do like and subscribe to my channel, because that way you will always be the first to know when the next video has actually been uploaded. Enjoy your day, have fun with your painting, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye.